again, unfortunately. Although the sky is super bright on one end. Let's see if it'll actually stop, or at least in certain parts anyways. And what's going on today? I thought this was kind of an interesting read. You often heard how a lot of people think, for example, a lot of drone regulations or certifications are just to make money, to charge people license fees and all that. How about this one? This one says, drone operator appealing judge's claim creating aerial maps is surveying. A drone operator in North Carolina is appealing a judge's claim that any sort of aerial maps or images obtained from flying drones is the same as surveying and can be regulated by the state's licensing requirements for that industry. In fact, the case charges that providing such information actually is expression protected by the First Amendment. According to the Institute of Justice, the claim that using drones to take aerial photographs of property is the same as surveying was made by Louise W. Flanagan of the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of North Carolina. She affirmed a North Carolina rule to that effect, saying, quote, "For years, the state's Land Surveying Board has targeted small-time drone operators claiming their maps and models amount to illegal surveying," the IJ reported. The court acknowledged that the use of drones to capture images for the purpose of conveying orthomosaic or measurable information is protected expression. Even so, the court ruled that North Carolina can punish drone operators if they create and share even basic information about land without first getting a land surveyor license, the report said. That's kind of ridiculous, isn't it? It's one of those things too where you try to get so technical where it doesn't even sound like it has much to do about safety, but it's more about controlling, I guess, like who can and can't do it. It says the point is the state is demanding a surveyor's license requiring years of schooling and experience in order for drone operators to do certain functions. The state board has threatened civil and even criminal penalties against drone operators. Saying here, quote, "One of the targets of the board's threats was Michael Jones, a Goldsboro drone enthusiast who has long wanted to develop an aerial mapping business. The surveying board sent Michael a cease and desist letter in 2019 demanding that he shut down his fledgling mapping operations," the IJ reported. And this quote gets me to think too, because here in Canada, even from the very beginning, from those stakeholder sessions, it seems like people want these over-the-top regulations more as a way to control, say, competition versus actual safety. It says here, licensing boards should not be able to use their authority just to protect businesses from competition, said IJ attorney James Knight. The government should step out of the way and let innovative businesses like Michael's continue serving their customers. The district judge's decision now is moving to the 4th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. And here the drone operator was saying he couldn't believe it, that what he was doing was, quote, breaking the law, and says, "I didn't think I was doing anything that could be considered surveying. In fact, I don't know of any surveying company that was using drones like I was. I'm looking forward to the Court of Appeals hearing my case." So who would you agree with here? I guess the drone operator or the judge's interpretation of this? And apparently the person here began using, I guess, drones to take pictures of real estate, for example, as a photographer and videographer. As well, it says here he took photos of homes for sale and buildings under construction, and he did a job for a company that wanted to use thermal imaging to see where heat was escaping from his warehouse. But the State Board of Examiners for Engineers and Surveyors claimed that was surveying per se. So huge technicality, and again, it's a lot of this stuff just to make money, make people go through thousands of dollars in courses, getting this certificate and so forth. It makes you wonder. I mean, in many ways, it does seem like the case, honestly. This reminds me of the point again, I'm always kind of surprised on how many people fall for fake gurus and lobbyist organizations where they, in a sense, encourage either directly or indirectly over-the-top regulations so they can sell, say, courses, apps, or whatever it may be. And then afterwards, people scramble to find a way to, quote, stay legal. Like, imagine this. And they say, "Oh, fantastic, they helped me get this and this," but these are the guys that are actually promoting the over-the-top regulations. So for me, it's always interesting to see, I guess, who are the ones who don't fall for the fake gurus and lobbyist organizations, because they're everywhere usually. I'm more surprised on the people who don't fall for it, honestly, because they do a pretty darn good job taking advantage of people's greed For example, oh, you do this and that, I'll start giving you business or whatever it may be. They play on people in that way too. So here's a great example. Over-the-top regulation, if it has nothing to do about safety and so forth, then what is the point of it? I'm always surprised when people just go, okay, whatever, like it's a couple of bucks, just do it. And I was reading a lot about this recently where apparently China was doing military exercises around Taiwan and the island. Like for example, this one says PLA Eastern Theater Command launches patrol military exercises around Taiwan Island. The Eastern Theater Command of the Chinese People's Liberation Army on Saturday launched combat readiness patrol and military exercises around the Taiwan Island, which will last from April 8th to 10, Beijing time as scheduled. So there was a lot of videos and so forth. Like for example, this one looks like almost like propaganda video, like, oh, this is what we can do, I guess. Launching missiles, I guess, from the land. At the same time, I guess, from Taiwan's side, like here from the Ministry of National Defense, ROC, you can see how they're showing they are prepared. One thing that's kind of interesting is seeing all these videos and information. It seems like countries nowadays, they put some production value in showing off, I guess. Either look at our weapons, they're so powerful, or at the same time, them saying, look at our defense measures and so forth, we're on it. It's just kind of interesting, again, how they have all these production values for this stuff. But is this a sign of war, per se? This has been happening forever. I know people who lived in Taiwan, they say every year or whatever, it's the same thing. Like for some people, it's always the threat of this coming and that and so forth. Will this actually happen now? Who knows? Alright, see you guys later.